Hi, it's Akasha. Welcome to my podcast, 100 Days Podcast. So today, 14th, can you see that? Alright, so today I want to talk about even if AI advances to the point where I don't need to study, would I still study English? Okay, my answer is, of course I do. Of course I do. I've got two reasons. The first reason, there are people who love something genuine, prefer something genuine. For example, some people accept fake plants, fake leather, and some people stick to something genuine plants, genuine leather. I'm like them. I wanna stick to genuine plants, genuine leather, something genuine. So even if AI speaks instead of me, it feels like these words are not mine. Doesn't make sense to you? Of course, they speak instead of me, they say what I want. However, these words are not mine. I want to stick to something genuine. And differently, even if AI dominates or advances to the point where we don't need to study, there will be people who love something genuine, like me. So I want to support those who stick to something genuine, or I want to support people like me. That's why even if AI advances to the point where I don't need to speak or AI dominates, I will still learn English. I want to stick to something genuine. Doesn't make sense to you? Yeah, so this is the first reason. And the second reason, I just love English. I love this language. Yeah, I don't care. I care. Actually, to be honest, I care if AI dominates. If people stop speaking English, or people stop speaking, I do care. However, even I don't need to speak English, I want to study because I love this language. I love English. That's why I want to master this language. I don't care. I care, but even if AI advances to the point where we don't need to study, if some people think or make fun of me, why do you still study English? Why do you speak English? AI speaks. If people start saying something like that, I love it. That's it. Yeah, and I want to stick to something genuine, and I want to support people like me. Right. That's it. Does it make sense to you? Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. So today, 15th. Can you see that? Alright, so today I want to talk about, I don't need to compare my English to other learners' English. So often actually, I often compare my English to other learners' English, and I'm like, oh, their English is better than mine, and their pronunciation is better, they've got more vocabulary and something like that, and I get disappointed. And people say that I became fluent in 2 years, couple of years, and when they started learning English, they didn't know Apple book. I mean, basic words, yeah, when they started learning English, they didn't know basic words. Some people say that, and I get disappointed. All right, they didn't know apple, they didn't know book, quite basic words, but they became fluent in 2 years or something like that. Right? It is great, incredible, but I get disappointed. And however, I don't need to compare my English to other learners' English, because for example, even if they say they didn't know basic words, apple, and books, but if they knew, I don't know how to say that, 関係代名詞. I don't know how to say 関係代名詞 in English, but if they knew 関係代名詞, even if they didn't know apple and books, but they can say I didn't know book, apple when they started learning English. Actually they didn't know, but if they knew 関係代名詞, that is so it might happen. So does it make sense to you? That's why I don't need to compare my English to other learners' English. Nobody knows what level they were at when they started learning English. You could say, I didn't know apple, book, but actually I knew 関係代名詞. So it might happen. I didn't know 関係代名詞. I didn't know how to spell apple. Sometimes I get confused. Sometimes I get confused, how to spell apple. A-P-P-O-L-E or A-P-L-E. Actually, still happens. So nobody knows what level they were at. So I don't need to compare. I don't need to care about other learners' English, because my goal is that I want to speak like native speakers. I want to become fluent. So, I just focus on my English. I just focus on my goals. I don't have time caring about other learners' English, or I don't have time. So I'm comparing my English to other learners' English. So I just focus on my goal. I want to speak like native speakers. I want to speak fluently. Does it make sense to you? Sorry if you get annoyed, and this example might be annoying. So, I'm so sorry if you get annoyed. That's it. So, we don't need to care about other people's English. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. So today, 16th, can you see that? Alright, so today I want to talk about, do we need to learn advanced vocabulary? So today I'm going to talk about vocabulary. It is really difficult to pronounce, but anyway, so of course it is better to learn advanced vocabulary. However, it is not my top priority. My top priority is pronunciation. For example, when I hear Japanese spoken by a foreigner, what makes me think their Japanese is great, their Japanese is good? I think pronunciation. If their pronunciation is great, I would think, oh, their Japanese is great. And also grammar. if their grammar is solid, I would think their Japanese is great. So even if they use advanced vocabulary, Japanese vocabulary, but if their grammar is not solid, if their pronunciation is not so good, I wouldn't think their Japanese is great even if they use advanced vocabulary. Yeah, so the same thing might happen in English. That's why my top priority is grammar and pronunciation. I don't think my grammar is solid. I have to study harder. Anyway, so, and also, I know my vocabulary is limited. I have to increase my vocabulary. I often get stuck on words because of vocabulary. No word pops into my head, and some Japanese words pop into my head. I don't need them. I talked about this topic a lot. So yes, so of course, it is nice to learn advanced vocabulary, but it is not my top priority. This is really difficult. I can't pronounce today top priority and also vocabulary. But anyway, I've got no choice but to study. Anyway, alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. So today, 17th, can you see that? Alright, so today I want to talk about I didn't like English. So I didn't like English. When I started learning English, I was not sure if I liked English because vocabulary was so difficult, grammar was so difficult. I mean, everything was so difficult. But I thought it was cool that I was learning English. And also, when I said I could speak English, people said, "Oh, that's cool. You can speak English. That is very cool." And I loved it. Actually, it motivated me. I thought it was cool that I was learning English, and also people said it was cool. So it motivated me. I was not sure if I liked English, but I wanted to speak like native speakers. I wanted to speak fluently. That's why I studied every day. And it's been 5 years since I started learning English. Now, I'm not sure if I can speak English fluently, but I love this language. And it's more like I can't imagine my life without this language, English. So, of course I love this language. It's more like I can't imagine my life without it. So that's what I do. So if you're like me, if you just start learning English, and if you're not sure if you like English or not, you don't need to worry about it. I was like that. You know what? I was like, once I accepted I didn't like English, I would stop learning English. That's why I couldn't accept it. But now I don't think I liked English when I started learning English. So I was like you. You know what? It is normal though. You don't like English because, grammar is so difficult, vocabulary is so difficult, and the pronunciation. You know what? In Japanese, you know what we say, yeah, in Japanese, e, u, and o, 5 vowels, but in English, only has got 3 types, you know what, long short and I don't know how to say that, just middle one. So has got 3 types. Has got 3 types. It doesn't make sense to me. You know what? English is so difficult, so it is fine. You know, you just start learning English and you're not sure if you like English. It is fine. It is normal. I was like that. So, but if you want to speak like native speakers, if you want to improve your English skills, just do it. Yeah, it is fine. Does it make sense to you? Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. So today, 18th. Can I say that? Alright, so today I want to talk about you don't need to be able to speak like a native speaker. I don't think every learner needs to be able to speak like a native speaker. I think trying to speak like a native speaker is kind of hobby. Once you get to the point where you can speak with solid grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary, it is totally fine. Of course, the person you are talking to struggles to understand you. Then you need to study, you need to learn more. But basically, if you can speak with solid grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary, and the person you are talking to understand you, then it's totally fine, I think. But to be honest, in Japan, it feels like we need to speak like native speakers if we speak in public, because you know what, some people say that your English is blah blah blah, his English is better than you. You know what, people try to point out mistakes. It's not to say that I don't want you to point out mistakes in my English. I want you to point out. I want you to say, you know what, if I make mistakes and if I, you know what, my pronunciation is not so good, I want to say, because I want to improve my English skills. But I mean, in general, it feels like people in Japan, people are dark L is really difficult. But anyway, people are strict about English. I think so. Like, we need to. It feels like I need to speak like native speaker if I wanna speak in public. So, but yeah, I think in Japan people are strict about English. But like I said, in my opinion, trying to speak like a native speaker is kind of a hobby, because we've got different goals. I don't think, you know, once you start learning English, you don't need to try to be able to speak like a native speaker. Yeah, we've got different goals. So yeah, trying to speak like a native speaker is kind of hobby for me. You know what? Actually, I don't need to study English because I don't use English at work. You know what? I don't use English at all at work. So I don't need to study English, but it is hobby. It is my hobby. That's what I do. And also, I don't need to speak in British English. Yeah? So I don't native speak in British English. Nobody cares. But this is my hobby. That's what I do. So, yeah. Yeah. I don't think every learner needs to be able to speak like a native speaker. I think so. Alright. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. So today, 19th. Can you see that? Alright. So today I want to talk about, is talent required for learning English? I think there is talent, of course. Some people are talented, so they quickly master English, or talent might be required to speak really fluently. But just in my opinion, we don't need to reach a level where talent is required in learning English. For example, I'm not sure this example is correct. I'm not sure, but I want to say that if I make a lot of efforts, can I play baseball as well as Shohei Ohtani? If I make a lot of efforts, no. The answer is no. I can't. If I make a lot of efforts, I can't play baseball as well as Shohei Ohtani. I'm too small. I'm too short. I'm 5 feet 4 inch. So I'm 5 feet 4 inch. I'm about as tall as Naoya Inoue. Do you know Naoya Inoue? He's a boxer. So I'm about as tall as him, but I can't become as strong as Naoya Inoue. If I make a lot of efforts, I can't play baseball as well as Shohei Ohtani. If I make a lot of efforts, I can't become as strong as Naoya Inoue. Talent is required. However, in learning English, we don't need to reach a level where talent is required. Does it make sense to you? Yeah. Of course, yeah, I think there is talent, but we don't need talent. Yeah, talent is not required. It's more like, for example, it sounds silly. Sorry, it sounds silly, but if there is an English mountain, it's not a mountain in the UK. Just if there is an English mountain, we don't need to reach the summit of the English mountain. You know what? Reaching the 7th station is enough. It's totally fine. It feels like I make my story complicated. So what I want to say is the talent. Of course, there is talent. I think there is talent in learning English, but talent is not required. We don't need to reach a level where talent is required. So this is what I want to say. So I hope what I said made sense to you. Alright, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. So today, 20th. Can you see that? Alright. Hello. Okay, so today I want to talk about there is no failure in English conversations. It's more like there is no such thing as the real thing, no final performance. It's all practice. Online classes, speaking with your friends, speaking to yourself, it's all practice. So we don't need to be afraid of mistakes. Of course, if you use English at work. If you speak with foreign customers in English, there might be such a thing as the real thing. You shouldn't say, for example, you shouldn't say shit instead of sit. So there might be final performance. But in my case, I don't use English at work. So there is no such thing as the real thing. This podcast might be the final performance, but basically I don't use English at work. So speaking English is one of my hobbies. I just learn English in my spare time. So in the first place, there is no such thing as the real thing. Why am I afraid of mistakes? Why am I afraid of mistakes? You know what? I can make mistakes. Why am I afraid? If there is no such thing as the real thing, we don't need to be afraid of mistakes. So today I wanted to talk about this one. There is no failure in English conversations because there is no such thing as the real thing. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Okay, today, 21st. Can I say that? Alright. Hello. Okay. So, today I want to talk about there are no secrets to learning English that 99% of people don't already know. Just do what 99% of people already know, but do it with the effort 99% of people won't give. That title is quite long, but what I want to say is that do what others do more than they do. I want to say how important it is through this podcast, through this 100 days podcast, do what others do more than they do. I wanted to say how important it is. We tend to look for a method like magic bullet. 99% of people don't know, and it makes our English better. Actually, there is no method like a magic bullet. Of course, ChatGPT or AI thing is kind of a game changer. However, what I have to do hasn't changed. What I have to do is to learn little by little, every day, on a daily basis, build tiny things. I wanted to express how important it is through this podcast. You know what? After filming this podcast for 99 days, in a row, I don't think now I'm an advanced English learner. However, definitely my English skills have improved. I didn't do anything special. Just I've been speaking English in front of this camera every day. This is simple. I didn't do anything special. But definitely my English skills have improved. So I think I could express what I wanted. So there is no method. There is no method like a magic bullet. Just do tiny things. Just learn little by little. Build tiny things. Never stop. Do on a daily basis. Build tiny things. Alright. Thank you so much for watching this podcast, my podcast, 100 Days podcast. Thank you so much for watching my podcast for 100 days. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.